Hello, grade 4 Riddle Art students. Welcome to video 3. Today we're going to be looking at a little closer at some Vasily Kandinsky art. We will review. On Schoology there are some Google slides, and I think it's called grade 4 art slides. You can see that, and that is the same slides that I have here, so you can look through it. I actually advise it when you're making your drawing today. I also think that drawing small could be a lot of fun, quicker, and easier. In the same amount of time as making one large drawing, you could probably make 3 really nice designs. And then if for some reason you really liked one of the small ones on the art cards, I call them art cards, then you could make it large, or you could make it a big painting. So it's a way of just getting some ideas down quickly and easily, and you might like it. So quick review here. Grade 4. We did some colors. We did a color wheel. Talked about the primary colors. Superman, primary colors are primary colors because we can take those colors and mix them to make other colors. We can make green, purple, and orange. We did talk about tertiary colors. They're your Crayolas, where they say yellow, orange, and red, orange, and yellow, green, and blue, green, and red, violet, and blue, violet. Those are your tertiary colors. And then we made a nice color wheel. Abstract non-objective art is where we're going to go with this now. After working with color, a lot of abstract art does deal with colors. So, Vasily Kandinsky, Jackson Pollock, Mark Rothko, and Piet Mondrian are abstract artists. Here's a Mark Rothko. So Mark Rothko is working with some warm colors. We're looking at yellow orange, orange, and a red orange. And what he would do is sit in front of the canvas and paint and mess around and just keep blending colors. And he's working on the color relationships of what color looks brighter. Can you see the difference in the colors? And he made many paintings like this. I know that looks very simple and very easy, but he was able to communicate and talk about his paintings. And one way to become famous as an artist is to have an art critic and people to write about your art. So if he has his artwork in the museum, and then it'd almost be like a Yelp. A critic will write about it. If he gets positive reviews, that helps that artist stand out and become more people interested in seeing that work. Piet Mondrian, here is his fields of color. So he was working with shapes and color, a lot of times with a white, and he calls it fields of white. And he's looking at the relationship of colors, of which color appears to be brighter. In this image, what color does seem to be appearing to be brighter? Possibly red, because red is the biggest bright warm color. Warm colors are going to seem to be brightest. Yellow is going to be your brightest, but in this image that he made, yellow is a little bit smaller. It's kind of a snip, so it's not so bright, and it kind of fools my brain to say that red is the brightest, and really at a quick glance my eye goes to yellow first. So yellow is the brightest. So he's just kind of experimenting and testing with brightness of colors. This is a very famous painting that he's made here, and you'll see it on, like, a woman's dress will be this whole pattern, or a purse, or different things, a handbag. Like, this is something that you are going to see just out in public. This is a very famous image. Jackson Pollock is known for his splattering paint. He just throws the paint around and drips it all over the place. He was one of the first artists from America to become extremely famous. He was on the cover of a magazine called Time magazine, and these paintings are very big. And this brings us to Vasily Kandinsky, the Russian artist. This image here is kind of like, his thought is music and art. Yeah, so it's like the concept is that the painting can make, with using these lines, it can be like imitate sounds. So like maybe right here's a boom, and then you can see these lines are moving, or like a sharp point is like boom, boom, and there's noises created by the shapes that he's chose here. So if you could talk to this artist, that's kind of how he would be talking about how these shapes, colors could translate in his brain, would translate in the sounds. So this is a very, very different concept, very new, and because of that, art critics love to write about it and talk about it, and then that launched him to fame. Although I think that his compositions are very interesting and fun to look at because there's a lot going on of just simple shapes, lines, and colors. And creating your own can be a little bit of fun too. So here's one. This is one of the more famous ones. When I think of him, I think of this one right here. This is the one. This is his circles, which is very common too. This is, the circles is more about you grid it and then you just start. With one paintbrush, you just start going colors and you start putting them down. You're not cleaning your brush, you're going back and forth, and you just get a, when you're doing something like this, you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna put the red here. And you're thinking red here, I need some red over here. I need some red over here. You wouldn't do like the same in 6 squares. You would be kind of trying to jump around. So then let's say I go to orange, and then I go to mix some yellow, or I go to yellow next, and I mix some orange, and my brush starts mixing and gets that orange color, and I want some here, here, here. And it's just a kind of the experience of mixing and thinking about where do I want to separate and put my colors and have balance throughout my painting. That's what this is all about here, is the experience. He was born in 1866. He died in 1944. Squares was concentric circles. That was painted in 1913. He was very much interested in the way artwork made people feel. Oh, here's that famous one. And then I have a collection of some other ones. So this is the same idea, and I see some same shapes. So this S is like, maybe it's like a flute or something. Oop, I thought I saw. Oop, right here it is. Here's that shape. So he does repetition of shapes and ideas, and he's placing these same things that in his head are like sounds or musical notes. So this thing here, whoop, whoop, those must be some sort of sharp notes because I see them right here. Whoop, whoop. Repetition. So it's kind of interesting. This crossing of lines, oop, I see that here. That same sort of shape is there. So you can look through this and maybe get some ideas. This repetition of this grid. I see that grid here. I see that grid here. He uses the same elements that that are his trademark. I see a lot of similarities here in his work, and that really helps with people that are trying to identify artwork, as if sometimes artwork gets lost and someone finds a painting and they're like, this looks like it could be a Vasily Kandinsky, you know, and if it is, then it's going to be worth probably like $100,000 or something. So they want to try to make sure that it legitimately is, if it's not a signed work. So they're looking for little cues and things. Although many times other artists imitate art that they see because they like it. Here's that one S. Here's some sharp notes. This one is almost kind of getting abstract. I kind of see a face here. Going on there. So this is a resource that you guys can use. You can look at and see some Vasily Kandinsky art. He is our Artist of the Month. There is a video. It's titled Artist of the Month, and you can click on the paintings, and it brings you to cartoons that are very entertaining, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about with Vasily Kandinsky. And what your assignment is going to be is you're going to make your own Vasily Kandinsky art. I like to work small, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my smalls, I'm going to keep them all together, my small drawings that I'm going to make this year. I'm going to keep them all together. These are all the drawings that I've done for different classes. I'm going to be able to make a really neat book. Yep, and my Vasily Kandinsky example for this project is this. So I did some gradation. I did some of the similar shapes that I was pointing out in the different paintings. To do this, I would advise you to use a ruler, maybe. You could use colored pencils, is what I used. I used some blacks for my lines. So I used my ruler, pulled out some lines. I was looking at some of those examples to figure out the trend of lines that I was going to use. And I wanted to imitate his work. So it's kind of, these lines kind of tie the entire piece together, is kind of what I was thinking. So I started by making some lines. From my lines, then we can start adding some gradation and adding some color. I made mine a little bit different. I'd advise you not to directly copy one of his famous works, but if you really want to, I guess that's okay. But I think that you should really try to have put your own touch on it. On mine, my own touches, I started doing some gradations. I added some oranges, orange and reds and yellows, and I kind of added a couple little different touches of my own, but I also include a lot of his style, a lot of his signature lines, because he's the one that inspired me with this project. So, Vasily Kandinsky, Russian artist, really cool. So he was famous because he thought differently and communicated very well about his art. He could talk about the lines and colors. In mine, you can see the blue is a cool color. I've got a gradation there. I've got some warm colors here. I've got some warm colors at the top. You can see that I have some angled lines, so that creates an eye flow. It makes the viewer's eye move across the drawing. I do have some curved lines. They're lines of beauty. I nearly have a few horizontals that are lines of rest. The curved lines kind of frame my drawing. They just kind of, really, this drawing has a lot going on. There's a lot of lines and it's kind of difficult. I wonder what, if I close my eyes and then I open my eyes, what would I look at first in this drawing? These diagonal lines. The diagonal lines are really getting my attention. And then once I see those diagonal lines, then I kind of travel, my eye flows across, and it kind of makes me notice different elements that I've added in my drawing. So this is your assignment to please try to make a Vasily Kandinsky inspired drawing. Remember, you do not have to draw big. You could draw small. You could draw one. You could draw two. You could draw three. You could show me your favorite one. But this could be really cool if, like, you made this in a giant painting, like huge, like had that on your wall in your house. That'd be pretty cool. So that is your assignment. Please go to Schoology and you can go to that art discussion and you can post this. Post your drawing, as many of you have done already. There are a few that still have not done this. So you go to the art discussion and you click as if you were going to type, and then you will see the word post. Directly above that word post, there are little bitty squares. You'll click that. Then you can go to the bottom left corner. There's a camera, and this has to be in laptop mode. You'll touch that camera, you'll hold up your artwork, you'll take the picture, and then you'll exit out of that camera, and then you'll click on that little white square, and it will show you all of the pictures that you've taken. The most recent will be at the top. You click it, boom, post, and there it is. That way I can see it and know that you are seeing my videos and you're replying. So you have all week to take your time and work on this. This could be something that you just kind of, you don't have to sit down and just hammer it out. You can work on it a little bit, go have lunch, come back, think about it again, or come back and make another one another day, and then post your favorite one. So, all right, we'll see you guys, and good luck. I look forward to seeing your art.